Let's talk about LeBron James. Yesterday, biggest news of the NBA yesterday was actually not the schedule release, although like I said on Monday, I am a nerd for the schedule release, and I'm proud to say it. I love it. But LeBron James yesterday signed a 2-year, $97.5 million extension to stay with the Los Angeles Lakers through the 2025 season. Now, first of all, the second year on that 2-year contract is a player option. So LeBron can opt into that second year of his deal, or he can become a free agent in 2024. But it ensures LeBron will at least be in Los Angeles for the next 2 seasons. Of course, I remember talking about this, I think it was last Friday, about how this could, this could possibly cause some chaos, even more chaos, I should say, for an already chaotic Lakers organization. Shout out to the Chaotic Sports Podcast, my man Patrick Brown. Keep doing your thing, man. But that you've got the Westbrook stuff. Darvin Ham's a first-year coach. Rob Pelinka, who knows what he's doing, right? And then looming over all of that, Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. Looming over all of this is the fact that, oh, shoot, LeBron might leave next year. He's a free agent. He can go anywhere he wants in 2023. And I said on this show, in discussing this, LeBron's playing his cards right. He's waiting to see what the Lakers are going to do. He's putting pressure on the front office to acquire Kyrie Irving and other pieces. The Kyrie thing, I don't get for the life of me. If it's just to dump Westbrook, you can dump him a lot of places without bringing in another problem. That's another topic for another day. But LeBron staying in LA, what does it mean for the Lakers? Well, it means they'll at least be relevant for the next 2, possibly 3 years. Right? Because if LeBron leaves, this organization is going to go right back to where they were post-Kobe retirement. Even Kobe's last 2 years with the Lakers, which is one of the 5 worst teams in basketball. Because you can't trust Anthony Davis to give you 60 games minimum, or max, I should say. Russell Westbrook is going to be gone either this season or next year in the offseason when he becomes a free agent. You're not deep. You don't have draft picks. They haven't had a tendency. The Lakers have actually drafted very well. I've always said in the show. I mean, look at guys like they've taken D'Angelo Russell. They've taken Julius Randle. Brandon Ingram's probably been their best pick over the last 5, 6, 7 years, right? They've taken Kyle Kuzma in the second round in 2017. They've taken some nice players. Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart. They just can't develop them. All of those guys have went elsewhere. Some of them have made all-star games. Some of them have won. Julius Randle won most improved player. Brandon Ingram is on his way, man, to becoming a superstar. You look at how he's improved every year, especially in New Orleans. So the Lakers are stuck. Add to it that Jeannie Buss does not know who to trust in the Lakers front office. And I've been saying this for a year. I was ahead of the curve on this with Jeannie. I think she's a good owner. She's a heck of a lot better than her brother, Jim. Jim didn't know what the heck he was doing. But Jeannie trusts Jeannie, she has the self-awareness to say, and she has said on multiple occasions, I don't have the basketball acumen, the basketball IQ, if you will, to run a franchise, to make the basketball decisions, which I respect her because there's an owner in Dallas who owns a football team who won't do the same. But the problem with Jeannie is she's trusting the wrong people. She's trusting the Rambuses. She's trusting Rob Pelinka. She's trusting Phil Jackson, who ran the Knicks into the ground even further than they already have been run into the ground by James Dolan. That's why Jeannie, about a month ago, and I talked about it on the show, sent out that tweet saying, man, I miss Kobe. He would know what to do in these situations. Right? Kobe would be the voice of reason. You had the whole fiasco with Magic Johnson a few years ago and his tumultuous relationship with Rob Pelinka that forced Magic out of Los Angeles. You had the aftermath of that. Somehow, within all this chaos, the Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA championship in 2020. Right? So props to them for doing that. Props to the great LeBron James and props to Anthony Davis for staying healthy and for that Lakers team that played great together. But those days are over. They are not competing, especially in the Western Conference, which is going to be better than it was a year ago. Golden State, the defending champions, the 2022 NBA champions, in case you have not heard, they're going to be back healthy, ready to go, better, considering the growth of the young players and the additions they made in free agency. Memphis is going to be better. They're young. That they went from 8 seed to 2 seed in 1 year. They're going to be better next year. Phoenix may not be better. They'll kind of be the same, but even if they're the same, they did win, 64 games last year? Phoenix isn't going anywhere, right? You have the Clippers coming back with a healthy Kawhi Leonard and a healthy Paul George. I read today that Kawhi Leonard's reportedly looking phenomenal right now. He'll be ready to go full speed ahead next year, especially with the addition of John Wall and the depth that they have and Ty Lue running the operations as the head coach. The Western Conference is no joke, man. Dallas got better in the offseason with the addition of Christian Wood. Luka's a year older. Luka's in shape this go around. Denver's bringing people back. All of these teams are going to be better in the Western Conference. The Lakers will be better. I anticipate they'll win more than 33 games this year, but they still got Russell Westbrook. And if they don't have Russ, they'll probably end up with Kyrie Irving, who's head and shoulders, better than Russell Westbrook. Problem is he's less available than Anthony Davis is, and it's not just for injury purposes. And he's one of the worst teammates in the league. So I always say, if I'm on the fringe, if I'm kind of on the bubble with you as a potential championship contending team, if I have more questions than answers about you, I can't call you championship team. I said that all last season, at least the second half of last season with the Brooklyn Nets. I said, I don't know what they are. I know they're ridiculously talented. They've got the great Kevin Durant and the great Kyrie Irving. But they're not deep. They're not good defensively. They're not well coached. There's no clear-cut leader in that locker room. You don't know who's taking the last shot at the end. They're going to be a lower seed. They don't even have a home court advantage. No shot at Brooklyn fans, but geez, man, apparently a Nets fan, the Nets have a smaller fan base than the Clippers. And what happened to the Nets? They got swept in the first round. My expectations for the Lakers this year: LeBron's going to be great. Anthony Davis is going to give them 50, 55 games. He'll be good when he plays. Russell Westbrook will be gone by the trade deadline. Darvin Ham will do whatever he can. Again, I liked the hiring Darvin Ham. I did. But he doesn't have a whole lot to work with here. And they'll win 42 games. They'll win 42 games. They'll be in the play-in tournament, and it's a coin flip as to whether they'll get in the playoffs. And if they do, they'll get bounced by Golden State or Memphis or the Clippers or one of the top seeds in the Western Conference. But it is good news that LeBron's going to be around for a while. I also think, too, the second year of his contract, the player option, is interesting because, and I think it centers around one person and one person only, and that's Bronny. LeBron's oldest son, and LeBron's been very vocal for a while now. He wants to play with Bronny once he comes to the league. Whoever Bronny gets drafted by, that's where LeBron's going. So unless in the crazy set of events that Bronny gets drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers, and LeBron would opt into that last year of his deal, the opt-in year, 2024 through 25 season for LeBron, that's when Bronny would likely come into the NBA because he's a senior in high school this year. He'll play college basketball next year, and then he'll be ready to go in the NBA. So LeBron would likely opt out of that and go wherever Bronny ends up, probably Oklahoma City or Orlando or somebody, but at least be interesting. So good for LeBron. I read today that he is now the highest earning player in NBA history. I think it was like $532 million in the NBA, and that's just NBA money. Don't forget LeBron's lifetime contract with Nike, all the other business endeavors he's bought into the Fenway Sports Group that owns the Boston Red Sox. I think he owns a share in Manchester United. I mean, he's the ultimate businessman. And that's something else too, why LeBron stayed in LA. And I brought this up a couple weeks ago. Being in Los Angeles has doubled LeBron's net worth. So if you are rich, great at what you do, successful, LA's the city for you. And LeBron knows that. And LeBron knows the connections that he has in Los Angeles that he's not probably going to have in, say, what he had in Cleveland or even in Miami, which is a big market. It's not LA. It's the entertainment capital of the world. He's taking advantage of that. Good for LeBron. Good for the Lakers. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube. Be sure to click that big red subscribe button and go check out the other clips and full shows of Carving It Up Live. Have a blessed day.